So coaching itself is an operating system on a human beings. And when you take the dual role of a coach, Agile coach, as well as the ICF certified, International Coach Federation certified coach, you are creating a different operating systems to coach your team members and the teams.
On Regal Unlimited, we have been training coaches for the last 7+ years. We have trained over 250 coaches. And of these 250, we just took a count. We are surprised to see that we have trained around 45 coaches, who are in the Agile space, Agile Scrum, the related field, pure Agile and Scrum. But we discovered recently that it's still a small number. Akil was sharing some statistics, maybe he'll share that. So we understand some of the pain points that an Agile consultant, we don't use the word Agile coach. So what an Agile professional faces. Yeah, more in terms of managing the stakeholder, to managing the team and everything, and also managing the employer. Sometimes you're working with someone else. You're an internal Agile coach. Sometimes you're an external Agile coach. Yeah, back to you, Akil.
Yeah. Thanks, Suvas. So what we'll cover is that we'll give you a brief of what the Agile Coach is all about, and then we'll talk about the ICF competencies. And the whole idea is that Agile plus the ICF coaching is a perfect match. So I will talk from the competency perspective, but if time permits, we'll also talk about that how it is going to help you professionally as well, whether you are working as a consultant, as an individual, or you are working in an organization. So how exactly it is going to help. Yeah. So coaches in the Agile world, which was developed some time back by the Agile Coach Institute, they talk about there are two distinct levels. If you look at the dotted line on the top, it talks about the one side is the teaching, which is all about you speak and whatnot, instructions to others, provide the specific knowledge, skills and whatnot. And then you are helping the team to practice the Agile and Lean. So you are well versed with the Agile practices, you are well versed with the principles and the values. And how do you inculcate all these Agile and Lean principles to the people who are using the Agile and the Lean methodologies in their day-to-day work? Now, this is very interestingly, they have also put together the professional coaching from ICF. They have taken the definition of the coaching, which is the partnering with the client in a creative process that inspire their personal and professional potential. And that what it means, we'll talk about in a while. But if you look at even the Agile coaching competencies, when they talk about the professional coaches, they take a definitions from the ICF, what is this coaching is all about. And here, very good point to note is partnering with the client. And that has a deeper meaning when you become the ICF certified coaches, very deep meaning, and why it is so important to partner with your client. So that one side is absolute tell, and the other side, the professional coaching, is all about asking, listening, or sometime being the silence. Yeah. And if you look at the mentoring, again, it is a tell side of it. So you are mentoring somebody, you are sharing your experience and your skills, your perspective about the challenges and issues. And then how do you share your space? How do you share your experience and the knowledge so that the individuals and the teams grow? Yeah. And that's a mentoring part of it. Similarly, if you come to the other side, which is facilitating, again, here, you don't tell them what to do. You don't want to tell them what decisions. They need to take the decisions. Just become the hold the container where all the team members come together to experience and build up the decisions for whatever they are looking for. So you are becoming the process owner and they are owning the content. Yeah, that means whatever they want to do, whatever the thing they have to do, they are doing it. What you are doing is that saying that, okay, let me in the process of deciding how you want to solve a given particular problem or whatnot. Yeah. Now the bottom three, if you look at, it's all about deep diving into the agile and lean practitioners. So technical masteries, how to develop the software, what is the craftsmanship, the technical expertise. As agile coaches, you can develop your technical expertise and mastery into that. To deep dive into that, how do you help teams to develop the softwares? Second is the business mastery. So you can't develop the software if you do not understand the business. So what they talk about is how do you develop the business values, understand the business values, and that the business values, the technology is all for the business. So how do you make sure that the business and the customers becomes the central part of your development journey, and you help the team to develop the software, do whatever they are doing in the journey of the software development and delivery, which is aligned to the business values, which is aligned to that particular industry, that particular organization. Yeah. Now, when you work in any organizations, there is a shift taking place. And what is the shift taking place? Earlier, we used to work in some different methods, which is called waterfall method and a spiral method and whatnot. What's happening is we have developed for years together. I'm not going to go into details in our program. We cover in a deep. Years together, we have developed the mental model of command and control. We have developed the hierarchical way of delivering things we learned in the 1917 and 1954. And if you have to ask people to work in a certain manner, they resist. There will be a resistance to make the changes the way they have been taught, the way they have been, and especially at the leaders level, especially at the managers level. It is very, very challenging. Therefore, what do you require is to become the change agent. How do you make the people to think about a different way of doing things, which is much better than what we have been doing? For that, you require to understand the change philosophies, how it works, and what as a coach, what you can do. When you are doing this, it's not about just a mindset, but it is a social behavior. So the agile is about the social change rather than anything else. And that's what we talked about in the transformation mastery. Let me stop here, guys. If you have any questions, yeah. Yeah. Folks?
There are no questions on the chat. Yeah, we can.
No questions. Good. So looks like we are all, I'm very good, simple guy, right? So please do stop me if I'm going fast, or if you think I can do something different. Yeah. Okay. So if you go further, and there is a very beautiful site called What is Agile Coaching? What is agilecoaching.org? If you go there, I'm not going to go into the further details. If you look at that, in the Agile Coaching, they talk about, they have mapped from whatever I have shown you the previous slide from the Agile Coach Institute, is that there is a three things when you want to become the Agile Coach. One, knowing yourself. And knowing yourself is all that whatever we talked about, the agile and lean mindset, frameworks and the methods, teaching, mentoring, and training, whatever we talked about, managing an engagement, nothing but advising, maybe becoming a consultant and whatnot. So this is the typical things. And then definitely, we are going to talk about the coaching mindset, and the coaching is tools plus techniques. Yeah. And then if you look at that, serving the team, so nothing but you have to become the servant leader. team, understand the team dynamics, understand the coaching the team, and starting the team, and how do you start and whatnot. And then it goes to how do you work with the product owner, and then how are you going to work with the organization. And guys, my question to all of you, and you all can switch on your cameras or audio and tell me what is missing in this particular game. If you know yourself, which we'll talk about deeper what exactly that means, and know the organization and know the business and know the team, is that enough? Or something is missing? Or something is missing in this? And anyone can switch on their cameras, or you can put together a chart box. When you see this, what do you see is missing in this? Folks? No one is speaking. No one is. So anything? Yeah. So what I saw is, hey, fine that you know yourself, and definitely you know the business, but definitely know the team as the people who come together as a team, and definitely the organization for sure. But sometimes, yes, I could see some responses, right? Customer, of course, Pratish, right? Knowing the client, absolutely, absolutely knowing the client. And what else? Of course, you know the people as a team, but what about the individuals in the team? Yeah, good that you all have put together the customers. Maybe they would have put together knowing the organizations, knowing the customers for sure, right? They missed out. And they have also missed out that, yes, individual works in a team, but they have their own self-respect, they have their own individuality, and everybody brings their own journey to that, right? Are you guys with me? And when we talk about that, what is agile coaching is, we forget the first that there are individuals and they have their own challenges and they have their own styles, their strength and their values and their beliefs, right? And all that beliefs and the values and the strengths are very important. Yeah. So what we look at is, when we look at the agile coaching, is about the self. Of course, you need to develop the self, and we'll talk about in little details. And then the first, you start coaching the teams, which is a little bit tougher job, I believe. First, start learning about how to deal with the individuals in the teams. And what is making individual not to come together in the team, or when they are in the team, still they are not able to perform, still they are not able to come together with the other people in the organization. So what's happening with them? What are that challenges? What skills gaps they have? What other things that's going in their life that they are not able to solve? Yeah. So there are, as a coach, of course, you have to deal with the multiple things, but to start with the self and then start working with individuals, because everybody, when they go through the change journey, they have their own journey. They have their own journey, and may not be necessary that they will be able to pick up with others. What do you do in that point of time? How do you deal with such situations? And there are some people who are very, very good and they will deliver faster, and they don't care about the other team members. So how do you deal with those people? Because agile coaching, or the coaching is in the organizations, is a collective effort. Some of the behaviors of all the individuals together, you can create the performance, right? One is performing really well, means you will be able to develop the software, guys, if you can put together something. If there are only 3 to 4 people working in your organization and rest are not, what will be the performance impact? What do you think? How much success we will have? Just put your thoughts. If there are only 2 to 3 people who are performing really well, and what happens to the others, right? Hari says minimal. Yeah. What else? What will happen to the guy who is continuously performing? What will happen to him? What kind of person he will become? Fall in the morale, burnt out. What else? What else? Very nice. Some more. I'm just waiting for. Yeah. Yeah. Team politics, absolutely. Underperformance, beautiful. Yeah. Team morale will go down if it is not. Yeah. Be demotivated. Right. This is the other side of it. What happens to the individual who's saying, hey man, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing that? I don't know how many of you guys have read a book called The Phoenix. How many of you have read the book called Phoenix? Yeah, Threshold. How many of you read the book called The Phoenix? Anyone? Sorry, guys. I'm just going there. How many of you read? Yes, there are some people. Yeah. So there is a book called Phoenix, and we will talk about it when we come to the program in some here and there. There was a guy in that particular book, which is a story book for development, agile and DevOps practices, and what happened there. There is a guy who was doing all of that, and he makes sure that he is, without him, nothing happens. So what happened is that if there are some individuals and others are not performing, you will start creating the silos and the heroism in the teams, right? And what made him to become the hero, and what making others to not support that? That's not discussed in this particular framework, and that's what we will try to cover in the ICF based learning. That how do you work with the individuals? How do you make sure that sum of behaviors of all creates a high performance rather than few individuals and the few silos into that? Yeah, and that's the whole idea we have. Now, if you go a little further, and I will leave it to Suhas to talk about it. Suhas, if you can talk about these 2 points before we go on, coaching mindset and coaching tools and the techniques. What challenges actually we are talking about here when it comes to working with the people? Anything, Suhas?
So a couple of points that comes from mind is, one is coaching mindset is a new competency that ICF has brought in recently. ICF had 11 competencies, it has been reduced to 8, and they've introduced coaching mindset as a new competency. So the idea is it's more about the mindset of the coach, which is determined to to create the kind of impact that the client wants to create. So it starts with me as a coach. How much ever I'm looking at the client's problems, client's opportunities, and other things. It's more about my mindset, which would have an impact on the other client. But it's a very structured competency now. So the advantage you'll actually get by or the benefit that you'll get out of going through this is we'll actually look at how do I develop that coaching mindset. And I can guarantee you, 9 years into this space, we are still developing it. It's a lifelong journey. In terms of coaching tools and technology, techniques and models also, I would add here is that, these are the coaching model is something that you bring in as to who you are. This is very important to you. Well, there are very structured methodologies in an agile space. Coaching brings together who you are. It's a creative process also. So these tools, techniques, and models help you to bring together who you are, and you mix that with a good coaching mindset. You will flourish as a coach or any professional. Quickly back up with an example. Our current batch has a learner who is a doctor, one of the most accomplished diabetologist, I think. He works in the area, or I don't know if there is another technical term, but he's one of the India's leading expert on diabetes. He's going through this. Where is the need for him to do something like that? He wants to bring in the coaching mindset and the coaching approach to his medical treatment. Does it answer?
Yeah, beautiful. Just wanted to add that, I have also gone through this agile coaching stuff. Actually, after I became the professionally certified coach, and I hold on to my master's. See, this is a very different deep dive work in the self space, right? It is all about the self, which you have talked about here. So here, if you look at in the agile, they say, okay, here are the set of questions that you need to ask. Here are the way you are going to do all this stuff. Nothing happens like this. The coaching mindset, the new competency which come in the ICF, it actually covers all the 6 competencies, right? So as a coach, mindset is to cover all the 6. So how do you the mindset is that how are you going to use all the 6 competencies we'll talk about in a while to develop that? If you ask me that what is the coach mindset, and we have demonstrated today in the beginning. Did you all notice that I introduced very politely Subhas, and Subhas introduced me? And what was the reason we did that? Any idea why we did that? Anyone can switch on their camera and talk about, or then they can type it as well. What was the reason that we did that? Typically, okay, introduce yourself, and then each one has introduce themselves and go. What made us to introduce each other? Yeah, come on, let's see that how many responses are. Yeah, partners, beautiful. Yeah, what else? Yeah, what else? Humility, very beautiful, beautiful, Pratish. What else? Guys. Yeah, empathy, wow. Yeah. Okay, good. So here, it's coaching is all not about you.
Akhil, if I can interrupt you, sorry. Harish had raised his hand. I'm just allowing him to talk.
Please.
Harish, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Rick. Yeah. So I thought the introduction part is very important for us to actually, both of you are telling that you know each other, first of all. Means you bring in that clarity of that I know Akhilesh very well, I know Subhash very well. So I'm good to introduce him because you are on same page to know each other. So you introduce yourself in such a way that you spoke about Subhash. This shows how you collaborative you are, how gelled you are, because which is very important when we talk about an individual in a team. It plays a vital role actually to excel as a team. So that's what I see, because I see some teams, they work with the teams, but they don't know each other for so many years. If we ask something very fundamental question, they may tell that, no, I don't know about him. Anything about work, I may tell. But I say that we should go a little bit beyond that as we go on. Because if suppose in this tough times, maybe I'm taking a bit longer, but I would like to emphasize more, because in this tough times, work is secondary. What we know about other persons has become primary. That's what I say. This is more important. That's what I felt, which makes us more closer to humanism, I say, than work. So that automatically comes. When you are close to him, the transparency comes, openness comes, the courage comes. Automatically, everything falls in place when we do that. So that's what I felt, which is the ultimate aim, is what I'm thinking.
Harish, I must congratulate you for, or I may admire you that you're talking the coaching language. Beautiful, right?
Yeah.
Something called is coaching relationships.
Yeah.
Right? And that whatever you said, that courage to talk about, to know each other, right? So the coaching is all about relationships, right? And that's what we wanted to show, that there is a relationships, and that relationships takes care of the transformation. Relationships takes care of the processes or the performance of individual himself and in the group settings, right? That relationships is what we were trying to demonstrate while doing that, right? And that is the mindset that we need to develop. Introduce yourself. No, I want to introduce you. You are my client, or you are. The coaching is all about him or her or the team, not about you. You are no one when you do a coaching, right? And that's what we wanted to demonstrate. A coaching mindset is developing the relationships, which is selfless, which is, I think Harish has hammered, right? Very well, Subhas, if you want to add it from your mastery point of it. I think he spoke all the
well summarized. I agree with Karan. Well put, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, that's the whole thing we talked about, that developing the mindset. And we will talk about in a while when we do the coaching, and that kind of coaching, the relationships, that the art and the science, and as Harish was talking about that, hey, it's not about technology, it's all about the people. It's all about that, how do you bring that relationship, how do you make people to speak up, how do you make people to come out and share their vulnerabilities, share their strengths, share their values without any hesitations. They open up with you. Yeah. So do that. There is a science and there is an art in these competencies. And those are, according to me, our research, whatever we have done, is called the structural competencies. So there are 8 competencies. I will take the 11 and then we can map it to this, called the structural competencies. If you guys know, when we do this work, right? When you work, there is an input, isn't it, guys? When we work in the agile world, there is an input, right? Here is the requirements, here are this and all the stuff, right? And then we use a process. We use a process, and then there is the output is delivered, isn't it, boys? In this, in the agile world or the IT world or wherever, right? There is an input, if that processed, and then there is output is generated. And I found that the ICF 11 competency of the old world or the 8 competencies of the new world, there is a structural competencies. And there is a target competencies, or nothing but the core competencies. And when I say core here, it is about you, the self, that you need to master. And then automatically there is an output that you are going to. So how do you make sure that the output is rightly produced? How do you ensure that you take that input before you process to create the output? Am I with you guys? So that's where these 8 competencies of the old world of 11 competencies are divided. Yeah. Any question on to this? I will reveal that what are those 8 competencies or 11 competencies of the old world. Yeah. Now, when you look at that, this is this part, and Harish, if you notice, this is about the behavioral coaching, right? The behavior of the people. If you want to create the performance, it is not the process, but the behavior, right? The behavior comes first, and then the process coaching, which is what the agile is all about. So here's the agile processes. This is how you should do. That you should do later. First, to work on the who this person is, who the people together are, what are their some of the behaviors to create the performance. Once that particular behavioral part of it, working together, understanding together, or individual and as well as the teams, then comes the process coaching. Yeah. And that's what is we are talking about, that here you have learned about the agile coaching, but bring the behaviors first for the individuals and as well as the teams to create the high performance software delivery teams or the software for the organizations. Yeah. And these 3 are taken care of. Not only it helps in the behavioral coaching, but it also helps in the process coaching, Suhas. Yeah. And this is my research talks about, and I have done that. And in the last 6-7 years across the globe, we have trained 350 plus coaches in the DevOps world. And that's what we do.
Right? I also want to add a bit there, Akhil.
Yes.
One thing I missed as part of introduction is also Akhil is trained in the area of transaction analysis. So when he talks about behavioral coaching, merging with process coaching, the behavioral side, he has gone very deep into that. And even someone who has not gone there, I have not gone into deep into that space. But coaching methodology or this ICF framework gives you an option to go beyond the process. Don't forget that it's an artistic form also, the art of coaching. And I think very often, as Harish rightly said, we stay at the surface. This equips you to go deeper. The framework of the coaching competencies, the tools and method techniques, it enables you to take in a very structured way and in a very empowering way. Yeah, back to it.
Yeah. And I think we are planning to do a demo session, don't we, Suhas? So that you can see that how we go deeper.
It's already 8:35, Akhil, and I know my throat is really bad. So
okay, yeah, sure. Yeah. No, not today. I'm talking about the other day. We have the
Yeah,
not now.
next session. Yes.
Next session. All right. I'm sorry for the communication. So here, when you look at that, so when you people come, you have to understand what do you want. So input is that what he wants out of your relation with him. What is it that he is going through? What is that he wants, right? And he might wanted some big things and whatnot. How do you plan to ensure that whatever he's looking for, and not at a surface level, but the deep level, go and create that, plan it out and create the goals out of his what he wants in a structure. That's the input, right? That's the input, that here is what I wanted. Here is my goal. Here exactly I want to get there. And then you are agreeing that this is the path we are going to take, right? So this is called the intake process, or that you call guys the input. Now come back in the center. What do you see, guys? What do you see, guys? Your presence. And I was talking in the beginning, when I was talking about Subhas, that's still not forgotten, and he don't know this is what I'm going to talk today, right, Subhas? Yeah, I had not forgotten that moment, 4:30, when he entered that room. It was such a different energy which came in. As a coach, we have to develop that presence, that the client comes and he starts feeling the trusted. He starts feeling that I have come to someone, I can share my challenges, I can share my whatever I have, and I can get things done. And that presence, in that presence, you start listening. Whatever the client is sharing, whatever the team is sharing, and whatever they are not sharing. So listening is not about whatever they're talking, but at a deeper level, what they are saying and they are not saying. And that amount of understanding of what they are not saying and what they are saying depends upon your presence. And we'll go into the deeper of it, each one of them in our program. How do you listen to that level? And when you listen to that level, then you can ask the right questions, right? You can ask the questions pertaining to what you have understood from the client. Yeah, all these are the ICF competencies, right? We have talked about the Agile Coach competencies in the beginning itself. Yeah, and then when you see something is client is saying and something is not saying, and there are enough number of people, they understand somebody, you understand somebody's, yeah, you understand that he's making up or he's saying something and telling something, you are able to observe it, but you don't share it, right? We don't have the guts to share that part of it. And that's in the old world called the direct communication. Now it is merged with some other competencies. Means how do you communicate what you are able to listen to, what you are present to his challenges, his strength, his values. How do you communicate back to the client so that he gets the awareness? Right? So when you have developed this self part of you, this is the core of that, this is called the self, then you build the relation with the client. As we were talking about Harish some time back, you develop the intimacy, right? Others also, when they see this, they also start feeling the intimate. Yeah. And with that process, you create the awareness. The client becomes aware of, I understand what I'm talking about. I understand that where am I into this process? Yeah. Yes, you're very right, Harish. It is a child process. There is no judgment at all. Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. Looks like you are already a practicing coach.
No, I'm actually an Agile coach, but I'm learning. I'm a great fan of Subhash. I've spoken to him, but still, I'm not able to enroll to his, but I attend his seminars, just these seminars. So I'm still awaiting his course to join, but still I'm into Agile. But I saw this merging because I was having this doubt for so many years in my mind. Actually, I always tell, how do we merge this? But this seminar is actually helping me to bridge that gap, because Agile is all about behaviors. Because people are missing that part. People are going with tools and techniques, but fundamentally they are missing. They're not coming forward to understand the basics. That's where I was thinking, at least this forum, people like you, leaders like you, Subhash, and you who are already into the industry, you know more than what we know. So people are not also opening their minds to listen. they are always in a very hurried world to jump onto conclusions, assumptions. They are in that still waterfall model where they write books and books assuming something. But Agile is all about evolution. You go to 2 to 3 weeks, then you plan something, you deliver something, because this needs a lot of patience and the collaboration with other team members, understanding, standing in other person's shoes. So these things I know, but not to overtake your meeting, but just to see that how this merging actually happens is what I'm seeing. And you're beautifully putting it through, which is allowing me to bring in so many thoughts. Thank you, Akhilesh, actually, and Subhash also. So,
yeah. So, in the Agile world, and good point, Harish, that you came in, Agile world, there are 5 levels, right? There's a beginner, then practitioner, then there's a journey person, and there's a craftsman, and there is a guide and the mentor. When you go through this particular program, I'm not going to go into the details of each one of them. All these 8 competency actually matches that, right? So guide and mentor, I mean, Suhas can talk about, the mastery is all about practice and the play, right? Practice, and the play. And then only you can become the guide, and then only you can become the mentor, innovator. Yeah. But then what we see is these 5 levels of the development we see in this particular program. We'll be able to bring it to you specifically from the coaching perspective, that how do you go to the level of the craftsman through our program journey. Right? The different competencies are mapped to that as well. Yeah. And yeah, of course, it is a 48 hours of the program, I believe. It will take some time for us to mature there. Yeah. So we have 15 minutes, and happy to have all the questions, guys, you can put together and we can take it up. Yeah, if you can open up, Subhas, the video for everybody can join. And if they have any questions, they can ask and whatnot. We'd love to hear all the questions, guys.
I'm making everyone. Any question? There are too many, so if anyone raises hand, I can please upgrade. A couple of other points I want to add, Akhil. One thing that we want to be very clear is the whole focus of our program is on practice. So it's an ICF approved program. So naturally, the curriculum, everything is ICF approved. They micromanage, they do it well. Second, in our case, at least, we know that you all come with a lot of depth already. That is in the pure spirit of coaching. That the client is complete, the client has all the answers, opportunities, everything, right? So from there, when we do, that is more empowering. So there's more focus on practice. And, we don't think that we can teach you anything, but more about introduce you to the framework and then, and kind of make you practice a lot. And our focus is on practice, practice, practice. If anyone has received our email, we say that 3 times there. One more point is what we are also, somebody asked me, not one, couple of people from our community asked me, what are you going to do differently in this program? So yes, we are trying this differently this time. We have a couple of other plans also, depending on how this turns out. But what we're doing differently for this batch is we're going to bring total focus on the Agile framework, the challenges that you face as Agile professionals. We are also going to do some case studies and resources for a pre-read, post-read. So we're going to kind of truly mix Agile with ICF here. And it's just not going to be Akhil and me. We are also roping in very hand-picked members of our community for the inaugural batch. And then a lot of planning has gone between Akhil, me, and the team. So case studies, and I know, I mean, almost all our friends have said that Agile coaches do read a lot, they do Google a lot, and they're committed to learning and certifications. So we're going to match that expectation for sure. Yeah, Harish, you raised your hand. You can come in.
There is a questions coming in, 2 of them,
Yeah.
3 of them now. So the first question is that how does the ICF credentials help in personal development? So I want to take it up.
Yeah, sure. So as you said, in the context of coaching mindset, I think this is a lifelong commitment to learn and grow. So, just by getting a PCC earlier or other certifications, we're just more aware that how much more there to learn and practice. And again, it starts with us. Now, I'm actually undergoing a team coaching certification based on ICF parameters. Surprisingly, even there, the focus is on you as a team coach. It all rubs off from where you are. So this is, unlike a certification with a very clear focus on getting a certificate and closing. No, this is the more you practice, the more you're committed, you will grow. That is for sure. And you will know you don't practice for 1 month, you will see a dip in your skill set. I can guarantee you that. Second, something that is very close to our heart, this community, is that there are 3 elements of this journey, right? One is the destination of the certificate, ACC or Regal certificate as a precursor. Then there is this journey of continuous learning and growing. And then there is also the third element, which is the company or the community. We have taken a lot of effort and pain to nurture a community of our professional coaches. Some of you are here because somebody from our community has referred you, right? And a lot of it is below the line. So journey, destination, and community are integral to this. For me, 2 other additional points, which I typically mention with literally every batch when I run this program. I feel this is a good plan, post-retirement plan. When I say not to retire, but it's something long-term, because you get better like wine when you practice this. Second, the fact that you're committed to lifelong learning keeps your brain active. A lot of brain-related issues also can be avoided by that, right? I have a former CEO, retired, who came to our program from Chennai. When I asked him why you want to do that, he said only to keep my brain active and also to coach and mentor with people whom I'm working with. So why I'm saying I'm taking this extra minute to explain this is, with all respect to Agile professionals here, we have seen I'm being, don't get me wrong here, I'm being very candid here. Some of us tend to be certification oriented. That doesn't work here, right? And when Harish said coaching, I noted it down. Coaching is all about behaviors. Even Agile was not certification for me, right? So personal development is integral to this. You come across as a great coach, Agile or otherwise, only when you are continuously investing on your personal development. And Akhil has chosen TA to go very deep into that space. I've taken some other things. Yeah. Anything you want to add, Akhil?
Yeah. So my personal anecdote on the personal development. I think I was doing really, really well in the corporate world. Yeah. And what happened was, I was looking for my own coach, because to get into the leadership role, I was looking for a coach, and the coach whom I spoke at that point of time, so was in 2011, he asked me 3.5 lakhs rupees for 12 sessions over the period of 1 year. And then I was searching, man, 3.5 lakhs rupees, so let me find out something else. And somebody suggested that, man, you become a coach and then you will also be coached and develop yourself and whatnot. And I joined the journey. Very interestingly, when I was in my journey of the ICF certification, I found myself, what am I doing in the corporate world? I have something else to do. That kind of shift happened, and I know very well, creating actions. Yes, just give me, Haris, 1 minute and I will come back to you. Right? Creating
take your time, no problem. Yeah. I just pressed mistakenly.
Yeah. Creating actions. And then I declared in my class that I'm going to quit the corporate job. I found the purpose. So when you take it seriously, it is a beautiful question. It may turn out your life very differently. Very successful in my career so far. And I left in between. Not in between. I mean, I thought that let me give you some different dimensions to my life, right? And so that kind of deep level of development can happen if you are serious about it and you do not want to just try out certification, but deep dive into it. You will understand yourself very differently. You'll understand it. Sometimes it gives a life purpose, right? It just comes very clear to you. So as if you want, you also had a corporate life, and how did you get into the ICF, right? So that's our own personal journey, can talk about it. Yeah. Second question, I will take it up, and then is the Agile space ready for the ICF certification? By the way, it's a good question. In Europe, and I'm working with one company, there they wanted their team to be coached, the Agile coaches, and they mandatorily asked that if you are ICF certified PCC, then you apply, right? So market demand is growing for Agile certification, plus the ICF certification is the gold standard in coaching, right? And in Europe, at least I have 10 to 15 requirements as of now. And one of the companies, I'm not willing to reveal that name. We have 45 people, right? So if I'm not wrong, 45.
45. Exactly.
Yeah, 45 leaders who are working in the IT company, who they're the leaders in that, and they're taking care of the leadership team. They ask us specifically that if you are ICF certified coach, please, then you come. Otherwise, do not come, right? In India. So there is a ICF certified coaches requirement in the companies are increasing. And yes, I would say that only 1% of the entire Agile fraternity is coached on the ICF. Indeed, I wanted to extend that discussion. Very famous book author of Agile coaching. I think you guys know her, right? She just finished her PCC after 12 years of writing the book. Just finished, I think a month back, and I have her mail. And then she talks about that. Why did she did PCC? Yeah. So that kind of a demand is there, boys and girls, in the ICF, and that is the reason why we wanted to. That is the reason why we wanted to conduct this program now. We would have done earlier, but now we see there is a growing demand and the people are looking for this and they are not seeing these changes. The performance is not changing, and hence we came up with this particular program. Yeah. I'm not an Agile coach. Is it for me? I think I leave it to Subhas if you want to answer it.
Yeah. Actually, interesting question. Incidentally, somebody has signed up yesterday who comes from an HR space, has chosen to be part of this group because the Agile group. She says, I want to see how this space works. So yes, the simple answer is yes, and I said that's a good way of looking at it. It's a growing space. So if you're not, even if you're not an Agile coach, it is for you. Yeah. Do corporates prefer ICF coaches over Agile certification? So how we say it, Akhil can add here, is Agile with ICF would be a deadly combination. Similarly, we feel a lot of future leadership would also depend on having this coaching mindset, coaching competencies. So whether it is leadership, pure and classical, or Agile coaching, I think ICF would be a healthy addition. So to that extent, if like when somebody is looking to hire an ICF coach, then naturally, I have an advantage. But to be very frank, what they also look for is what is my professional background, what is my experience. Sometimes the gray hair helps too, to be very frank, because typically Agile coaches are younger. So there are various factors, but most of it comes from the individual beliefs and biases also. So if a company is looking for a professional coach, definitely ICF is preferred. But the way we did our research, as Akhil mentioned, the way Agile space is shifting, I think Agile plus ICF is almost a must-have now. And you'll be kind of ahead of the curve if you do this. Yeah. Harish, I think you can come in.
Harish,
Yeah.
you can come in.
Thanks, Akhil. Yeah. You raised your hand.
Yeah, I'm there. Thank you, Subhash and Akhilesh, who were very well explained. But one very fundamental question I have here. So I know the ICF programs like ACC and PCC, if I'm right, those are there. So this is the same certification which you will add an agile flavor to it, or something we get differently at the end of the program. Means I understand coaching wise, the course wise, I got it. But I'm just asking on a certification front, will something call out that I'm an agile flavored ICF personnel, or how does it work?
See, as I said before, this curriculum is just ICF ACC. We also run ICF PCC. So it's a very specific curriculum for ACC PCC. So the end of the certification of the or a milestone in the journey would be an ACC for you to start with, or if somebody chooses to go for PCC. The flavor that we bring in is a lot of discussion, real life practice would be around agile space. What are the problems that you face as an agile professional would be the flavor of the discussion. So when today, like the lady who signed up yesterday, we told her, no, the whole conversation is going to be around agile working. So are you sure you want to be there? She said, yes, I'm fine. So the thing is, all examples, case studies, pre-read, supporting resources, all would be in the space of agile. So, when we practice, for example, last point, when we practice, we set the expectation very early, saying that bring what is most important to you at the top of your mind today. It could be anything, but what is at the top of your mind, you have to bring in. Otherwise, you're not being a genuine client. But when we are doing it for practice, for this batch, we would invite them to bring in what are the challenges that you're facing in the agile, at the workspace, right? We'll not dilute the depth by ignoring the personal side, because then that is not coaching, the behavioral side. But there'll be an overdose of discussion on the work related areas. Does it answer, Harish, or any follow-up?
Yeah, I think, you answered, Subhash, but the last point also, I think that the next question you slightly brought in that also. My next question was, will it dilute the original scope of means ICF? It will not dilute, right? If we bring in agile flavor, because agile maybe, because I was hearing, Akhilesh, sorry.
Yes, Akhil.
Yeah, first of all, being the ICF certified coaches, we believe in the ethics, right? The ethical part of it. And the second competency is a coaching mindset. And if you're truly believe in this particular program, and we don't do it just because we wanted to get somebody certified, right? It is an ethical process. So there is no question that we will dilute any manner whatsoever onto the ICF expectations from us, that when we are training the people, we make sure that they are getting the deep of the knowledge. I think much more than what at the ACC level you all will get. Yeah, you'll get that. That's a difference. We can assure you. As Subhash said that, what happens in the agile environment when you work there? I have not put together all of that detail, otherwise it would have become hours and hours of discussion. So we are going to bring minimum of 12 to 15 cases into the program, the typical traits of the people when they work in the agile environment, and of course otherwise as well. But in the typical agile environment, what are the traits of the people? Their behavioral traits. What it comes, and how do you deal with such kind of people? How do you ensure, how do you help, how do you coach him? Or in that context, and we are not going to talk about a team coaching as such, because this is an individual. At the next level, we'll do the team coaching with the ICF certification. Is that how person is, okay? How a person is not able to work with a particular team. or how a leader is not able to trust his team members, or how the product owner is not able to communicate what I want, what has to be communicated, or why people are not picking up whatever is going on. And there are a number of things, right? Or when you ask that, hey boss, why we did not deliver certain things in certain time period of time, and then you will see there is something called Ostrich Behaviors. You know what Ostrich does? Guys, you know what the Ostrich does?
No idea, at least me.
They put their head in the sand. Right?
Okay.
So similarly, we think, when something is going on, oh, you tell that, you tell, right? Oh, I was thinking that you're going to tell this. Oh, I'm thinking that you're going to tell that. Oh, I was thinking that you will deploy this, no? Or I was thinking that you're going to talk to the product manager, right? And this is what we do. And why is that particular behavior is demonstrated by all of us when we are in the corporate? What is making us to do that? Yeah. So similarly, this kind of discussions will bring in, and how do you coach people, right? Right?
Yeah. I think
I also want to add. Yeah, I also want to add a data point here. One is after the initial phase, Harish, we actually mentor you on PCC level markers. This is a trade secret. Since you brought it up, we are sharing it. So though the certification is at the ACC level, we mentor at PCC level with the PCC markers. I mean, all our training coaches would watch for it. Second, how does it help us? Another data point is that every application that has gone to ICF from our coaches is 100% strike rate, ACC or PCC.
Cool.
None of them have flunked in the test. That is the thing. And we don't do a lot of numbers. We don't chase numbers in this space. We chase quality for sure. But still, 250 is a large number. All 250 are not applied. At least 180 or so would have gone through. But it's 100% strike rate. I mean, that statistic speaks for itself. It's 9 to Akhil. We'll not come in between the dinner and the rest of the evening.
Yeah.
So thanks everyone for staying on till the end. Please convey thanks to whoever invited you here. I can see some surnames who's come in here through references. The conversation goes on, and if you have any doubt, please feel free to connect with Akhil, me, or anyone in our team. Happy to connect and have a follow-up conversation. Yeah, so we're trying out something different, and we hope to do something different and well this time. Yeah.
So when is this starting? When is this starting program?
February 18th.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Subhas and others, the closing thoughts. So, always when we close our Agile meetings and what we ask that, hey boss.
Sorry, February 19th. Sorry. Yeah. 19th is Saturday. Yeah. Prabhakaran
is asking that fees. So really.
The program fees. So there are a couple of things precursor to the answer. ICF allows up to 50% classroom, but we are staying with the old practice of 80% classroom. That is 48 hours of training. They mandate minimum 10 hours of mentoring, but our mentoring is much more than that. So the program fee for us is 140 plus GST. It is 165,200. This does not include the fee payable to ICF, which is $550. When you complete your the entire journey and get a certificate. So it's around 2 lakh investment for a period of time. We allow up to 4 installments, 41,300 into 4, and 550 you pay to ICF directly.
So how many months is the journey, Subhash?
Typically 4 months. Yeah. We handhold you. So the certification journey is 4 months. It is stretched over 4 months. We have tried different permutations, combinations over the last 7 years. We have arrived at this as the best thing, also based on a lot of feedback from our own participants. So what happens is you practice, come back, you have questions, then you again practice, go back, right? You reflect, we make you do some exercises in between. So 4 months we have seen is a good thing for ACC. The current PCC batch is spread over 8 months.
Okay.
Yeah, it's also 65 hours only, but we are deliberately stressed it 8 months because that is much deeper journey. There we try to leave them at an MCC level. That's why it needs longer time.
Okay, so for PCC, mandatory is ACC.
No. You can go to PCC directly. Both Akhil and I went directly to PCC.
Oh, cool. Okay. So the fees will vary, right, Subhash?
Yeah. So 140,000 is for ACC. Additional 160 is for PCC for our alumni. If it is not our alumni, we are very careful about getting, we don't allow anyone to come in for PCC. It's 2 lakhs plus GST. So for our students, it's 140 plus 160, 3 lakhs plus GST.
Okay, PCC. Then the separate fees for for getting that with the
ICF
certificate.
Yeah.
Okay. That will be 550 or it is more again?
550.
550. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. So I think I will have a separate conversation on this problem because I just want to know more. I think this will take more time.
So another request, since the pricing has come and a lot of people are not comfortable talking about price, but I am very comfortable. I've done sales throughout my career, marketing, handled business. We have very consciously chosen a premium pricing. We are one of the most expensive here. That's only because of the quality. Like, Akhil, me and one more MCC is going to be there. Anand, who is a PCC, Akhil's former colleague and partner, couple of others. You won't get this kind of group of mentors. So absolutely.
People who are going to be your facilitator had been done and dusted in the industry. Managing director of a big
Accenture
IT consulting, Anand, right? He had been a managing director. So people who have done it, they have seen the number of transformation in their life, right? They have done and done. And then Anand is also practicing from the last so many years about the coaching. Indeed, he is the author of DevOps Dasa Coach program along with me. So like that, you will have a very different set of practitioners who have done, and they have done the deep work, would be joining you to work along with you. So along with that learning, there's a network of the people as well. You'll get it, the mentors.
And I'm going to be the only non-techie. Literally everyone else would have some technical background. Yeah.
So Vas is a techie in the Agile ICF competency space.
Sure.
So
Thanks everyone. Yeah.
Any final thoughts, guys?
Yeah. Any question, any
thoughts?
comment? Just one liner, please comment and then leave if you can.
Yeah, if you could put together one liner.
How was the time spent?
Good, valuable. Yeah, how was the time spent?
Yeah, thoughtful and informative. Thank you so much because there's been I've been trying to enroll for a long time, but things are not working. I'm hoping this time, because I saw a word of merging Agile. Maybe that is pulling me, but still, I don't want to go anywhere. I want to do here is what I have spoken multiple times with Subhash team, but things are not working out, but wonderful. I'm hoping this time I want to enroll somehow. So,
sure.
Thank you so much, Subhash.
Thank you. Great information.
Thanks,
very interesting. Thanks,
Senthil.
Senthil. Thanks, Dinesh. Thanks, Parthesh. Yeah, good night, everyone. Take care. Stay safe. Bye-bye. Yeah, informative. Thank you, Janaki Raman. Appreciate. Bye-bye. Bye, everyone.